Hi, everyone. Welcome to Newark By Night. There's a lot of us tonight. Unfortunately, Jeremiah is feeling under the weather, so we're gonna kind of do like a green room vibes kind of night tonight.
Feel better, Jeremiah.
Yeah, feel better, buddy. Mouse's idea for this, so I'm gonna let her kind of run the show. I'm just here kind of vibing and doing tech.
It's like green rooms, instead of it being like a Q&A where we're really trying to bounce off of the audience, it's more about us getting to talk about the game in an out of character, intentional kind of way, where we all have had like thoughts about each other's characters. We all had preconceived notions of going into this game. We've all had surprises that we were not expecting at all, that kind of changed how we viewed our characters and the game. And going into a dark comedy like this, I know we all probably were like, I thought it was going to be like this, and now it's nothing like that. So we get to just kind of talk. But yeah, if any of us have any questions for each other, if you have like a pontification about the game that you've kept to yourself that you'd want to share, whatever. I have a couple of questions, I know, and I think you said you had some.
I did. But they might be similar, so we'll see. We'll get there when we get there.
But I know, Teco, you said you don't have much time, so if you have any questions or thoughts, whatever, you can go first.
I have a question because my brain's like it's not functioning at the moment, so it's got one. I think a question is what are you looking forward to the most? Not in terms of your character, but somebody else's character. Like, what are you looking forward to the most? Maybe they're developing something cool, and or you really want them to see them do this or that. What would you maybe? What do you see for a future for another character, whoever you want that to be?
I totally can go first because it came to my head immediately, and it's the person who's currently stepped out. I feel like everybody is super invested in who does Sage get embraced by in the end. Like we all assume it's gonna happen. So yeah. Which clan wins in the end?
I mean, it might not be a clan. It could be a mage thing. You don't know. It's a whole thing.
Like,
there are options. Not a mage thing.
It's like that's the number one thing that comes to mind is like, who am I looking forward to the most? I want to know who Sage picks in the end, or
who picks Sage.
By. Who does the most swindling in the end?
That's also what I'm looking forward to as well. Like, I'm waiting until things get to a head, because arguably we're gonna be waiting for some kind of resolution involving Sage's family first, because that's a bunch of necessary trauma for that level of character development, right?
Of course.
Poor Sage.
There's trauma for Sage, but she's such a trauma-free character.
What did I miss while I was getting my food? I was just getting my food.
The question
was interested in seeing the future of their character.
The question was who, not our own characters, but which of of the other characters for each of us are we looking forward to something the most? And I was like, for me, the obvious answer is, who does Sage get embraced by in the end? Or does she become a mage? Does she ascend into an avatar? Whatever happens with Sage, I'm very invested.
I'm not gonna lie, it changes every session. Like, there are days where I'm like, Jeremiah, I'm going to go Sage. And then the next time we play, I'm like, never mind, she'll get embraced eventually. It's fine. And he's just
I would be remiss if we were going to miss the opportunity to call you Sage the Mage.
That's where the mage idea started. I'm like, I didn't think of that.
Oh god, that was something even worse came to Sage.
Massage.
Oh, with the hat tilt.
No shoes, living in a dumpster. Mages are cool.
I feel that would be a great opportunity as my pizza falls out of its box for Prunella to make all like the witchy like magic of the gathering like inspired clothes for her.
She's like, "Oh, you're a magician now? Oh my god, I love it. Top hats."
That's not what
Top
mages
hats and
are.
tailcoats.
She's
Can
gonna be
you
like,
pull a bunny out of anything? I'm just.
she's like, "I loved Zatanna in the comic books. I'm inspired." It's like,
Just trying to like be like, so what's your mage vibe? Like Ronaldo has the crazy guy, we got the priest, we got the kung fu guy.
The homeless kung fu guy.
We have two kung fu guys.
I actually love the character of the priest because he's a very clear and obvious lead that McCoy's not even trying to bury anymore. And none of us has taken the bait. All of us will talk about the bait, but we're all just like, oh, pfft, no, man, it's not happening. We're not going to willingly go to a church. It's not happening.
None of us are church people.
And I don't even think none of us even have that bane, but we're still not going to do it, brah. We're not going to do it.
We're just not church people. We can doesn't hurt us. We just don't like it.
We're not doing it on principle.
Also, potluck? Come on now. I mean, I guess if I was
How long
hungry
have you
enough, I could go to the potluck to hunt, I guess?
How long have you been planning this potluck, sir?
It's every Sunday or something.
It's like
yeah,
every Sunday.
He has them frequently, and we're
Got
just
those-
like, nah.
Got
Maybe
those old
next
ladies in a
time.
sweatshop making casseroles. Damn.
We all think he's super suspect, but really he's just an old preacher who has good intentions and doesn't know anything about us.
Yeah, like, well, that's what we're all like. We were all definitely like, nah, he's a hunter. And then Ronaldo was just like, oh, he sounds like he's from the Celestial Course. And I'm just sitting there like, what is the Celestial Course? Let me look that up real quick.
Let me do a quick Google. Oh, I do have a
Like,
question.
Oh, no, I didn't have anything to say.
Okay. For Techo, since he's not going to be here long, I have actually wondered this for a while. I didn't know that session that that Wex rolled Prunella in love with Hawk when he was introduced. I didn't know that Hawk was meant to be an SPC you would come in and play sometimes. So when you were watching that and we did that to your character, what was your thought when you were just like, really?
I don't think I've laughed so hard in a long time because me and Jeremiah were talking about it, and then that happened, and I was just dying laughing, being like, "Okay, I get to flirt with Mouse now, I guess."
You love to
think-
flirt with everybody. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
he loves his flirty characters. And I say
Look.
that endearingly.
I
but I
mean,
think your
I enjoy his
response-
flirty characers too.
Look, I played
fun to
10
play.
months. I had 10 months where I refused to play a flirty character. Then I played a flirty character. Everyone lost their minds. Okay.
Mhm. It's because you make everyone go like, am I into this? Is my character into this? Am I into this as well? What's going on? But
Look.
your exact response that night was, I can't wait to mess with Mouse. Like, I remember
Yep, that
as
was
soon as the
that
stream
exact.
ended,
That
that
was
was the
that.
first thing he said to me when we were saying our goodnights was, I can't wait to mess with Mouse.
As someone who has messed with Mouse, it is very fun. So I can absolutely.
Mhm.
yes.
Tasha Yar deserved it. She had it coming.
Because like every time like Hawk, like Jeremiah said Hawk did something, I'm like, oh, Prunella would probably be into that because he's clean, he's very organized, he's very intelligent. And it just kept stacking on, and then you rolled for it, then you rolled like max. Maybe
I think I rolled like a 9 or something.
Yeah,
Rolled
you
a
were like-
9.
Yeah, like a 9. I was just like, oh.
I just loved the
that's-
delivery, and there's like, what'd you roll? A 9. So she likes him bad. She's got it bad. It's holy crap.
I was just like, well, It is what it is.
And that's when I invented Prunella crushing, because I was like, what would she do? I don't even envision her in life having much of those moments where she was just like, hi, I'm Prunella. Like, never. So I was like, he rolled a 9. Well, Prunella's stupid crushing. That's how I decided. I was like, she becomes dumb.
I mean, she's not super intelligent to begin with.
Hey,
so,
I
mean,
spend XP. She's smarter now.
she's smarter now.
Smarter now.
Ollie's not. Ollie's not.
Yeah. But like when me and Jeremiah were talking about the character originally, because he asked me, I was basically asking, what can you give me more about the character? And then we kind of talked about it and went back and forth. And it come to find out that Hawk has been a soldier all his life. So and he's been so dedicated to other people in terms of being a soldier that he's never dated before. So I was like, okay, a man that's never dated before. What do I do?
Explain your book choices.
Book choices.
Oh, that was good. That was really good.
Book talk. I was just like, okay, how do I become book talk? That was my inspiration for the flirting.
Well done, sir. Well done.
What are people reading?
Golf clap.
And I'm like, hated it.
I was just looking for romance books in general, and then I was like, I read the description of the book. I'm like, okay, that's oddly similar in the character's name, Hawk. Okay.
You
I read
literally
any-
could have asked me. You
Princess-
literally could have asked me.
Princess Poppy.
To be fair, I found it as session was starting, so I couldn't ask you.
That's fair.
I do have a question. What is something that, for those of you that have played characters, period, if you have the answer, what is something about your characters that surprised you? Like, as you're playing, you discovered something that you didn't originally have planned.
Well, I mean, I did not plan to have Prunella fall in love with anybody or have the rest of the supporting cast that is not played by one of y'all in love with Prunella. I didn't plan for any of that bullshit.
Obviously, you should have. I didn't plan to, feed off of one of Prunella's touchdowns accidentally.
That was to me that was my favorite episode of this season so far, is because we all decided that bleed schmeed, this is the episode we all just let it out.
Oh.
I didn't expect Sage's double life to be as I expected that to go a lot longer, where it's like there were hints of like her like not being the it's okay, like Feather just uses Eastern style healing. We don't use Western medicine. Like, and like really feeding into that. And then like I forget when it happened, but it was super early on and it was like, nope, cut that shit out. And I'm like, okay. I also didn't expect her to just be going through so much all at once right now since Feather left her. And it's just like, I'm like, she was supposed to be the level-headed one. Now she's the moody one.
It's fantastic.
You've gone through a lot of changes in that character.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I didn't expect Ollie to murder quite so many people. He was more intended to be a pacifist, and he still is a pacifist. It's just a lot of situations that allow him and require him to murder folks come up, unfortunately. And like, he's built to do it, but he wasn't supposed to do it. Like, it was supposed to be like a more infrequent thing, and it's happened a lot. So,
By pacifist, do you mean pacifist through somebody's face?
yeah, pretty much. Apparently, that's what I
And
actually
a door and a wall.
meant. Look, I can't control the frenzy. Okay, that's not my fault.
And a car.
And a hunter and a few humans that were enthralled by what's her face. What was her name? The big bad lady. Can't think of her name. Wow.
It begins with an E. I know that.
Fuck off,
Eileen. Fuck off, Eileen.
Fuck off,
Yes.
Eileen.
Because I was going Elaine, and I'm like, wait, no, that's Seinfeld. Hang on.
Well, we do have an Elaine too, don't we? Or roommate now?
I think so.
There's so
So
many
isn't
names,
that
but
Elaine
hard.
or no? I don't think-
There's so many characters.
There's so many, and I'm surprised because Jeremiah did say he might pop in and listen. I'm surprised he's not just in the comments.
Just being
This
like, this
name.
is their name. This is their name. Just a reminder, the cow's name is Daisy.
I don't think we could forget Daisy.
Evelyn is the
Evelyn.
Evelyn. I knew
just
it
went
was
to
like
check the
similar.
NPCs. It's and their face claim is Ashley Johnson, which makes me laugh.
Of course, we do have the PC chat, and I'm like, none of us use it. We all try to go off memory.
We look over there and we're like, oh, that involves scrolling.
No one got time for that.
Okay, so my question that I thought of earlier today that I know everybody would have an answer for is going into this when we've and I know and I like because Dan and Andy and Tech and Tyler kind of came later when it was surprising how much we loved this universe we had created. But going into it before you have that first play, what we described, a dark comedy that's going to follow the rules but not take itself seriously. What did you expect versus this strange, fun thing we actually ended up with, and the kind of chemistry that we actually found in our group? I know it's hard for me to remember that far back and be like, what did I think it was going to be? And then what is it to me now?
I mean, like, I've been listening since day one, so it's like the thing is I wanted to play a more goofier character, but I was asked to play a more serious character, so I couldn't really do the goofy thing I wanted to do, which is fine. Because I love Hawk.
Here's the thing about that. You being the most serious person in the group translates you into being goofy, like in the out of place way, the good kind.
For sure.
Where you're like, it's kind of like how I started off as, where I was the more serious one until being around this group just kind of like scrambled my brains a little bit.
Unhinged.
I mean, I feel like Hawk is going to get there one day if he spends more time with the crew. I think Hawk will become almost like a new person, because the reason why he's always so serious because he's always in work mode, and being around Prunella will probably change that a lot for him. So he'll probably develop an actual personality.
Are you saying it's going to be distracting for him, is what you think?
We started with a more serious one-shot for the ghouls.
Mm-hmm.
So coming into it, Amelia was definitely more serious and then kind of came into the vibe. But I remember in the beginning, I was like, Mouse, you got to hang out with Katie. And eventually you guys got to do this. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I think it turned out a lot like I thought, but also there's more serious moments like Sage is having with her family, or
our serious moments, our dark moments hit harder because we are a comedy. When we go there and we all lend focus and actually invest and are in that moment, it hits so hard. Like, I love that it took almost a year before the very first time Prunella fed during a session, and we were all just like, okay, red flag, that was too traumatic for everyone. Can we never do that again?
Stop killing the animals. It's so sad.
We do all of our feeding
It's like,
behind the scenes.
Are you gonna try and not kill it? I'm sorry, McCoy. That's that I can do that? You mean
You mean to tell me I could have been I could have just not been killing animals this whole time?
You know, he's never answered me, but I remember immediately after that, like, specific moment, I go, how many have survived? Can I have a number that I hold on to and gets me through the day?
Three.
How
Three
many
have survived.
didn't die? Like, oh my god.
Oh, poor Prue.
I remember when I came in to play with you all, and being asked to come and play Micah, who is a silly character. and he's got serious stuff, but nothing that was going to come up in the one episode he was going to be in. And he comes in, Duck attacks, he takes off after having been silly with you all for a little bit, and you all are like, well, we're not going to think about that now. We're going to go look at the ghost in our apartment. And like just go out and just sort of like, it was like this decision that the group made of just, here's Feather's sire and Sage's original daughter being attacked by this villain that's been teased for a while, and they run off and everyone's like, yeah, no, that's above our pay grade. We're going to something else.
We're going to something more chill.
He's got it. He's fine. He doesn't need us.
And then Jeremiah did the most devastating thing by making Micah hot, which no one asked for, and
no one needed hot Micah.
It's like he's Micah, but he got a new body and damn.
Disciplines and
Well, that also reminds me of the concept that is more in my mind right now for Malkavian, which is just the guy that sits in the closet. Or like you could have somebody in your closet, or there's a monster under my bed, and you just have an invisible Malkavian watching you.
Michael,
that was it.
Malkavian under the bed.
The proverbial Malkavian.
No, the actual one, the actual literal Malkavian under the bed.
And that'll be how Sage actually gets embraced.
Oh.
Malkavian under the bed. I've been here this whole time.
Micah followed me home too, guys, and that's how I got embraced.
That would be hilarious if Micah had literally been there the whole time, just listening. Like, eventually one of them will make an Auspex roll where it'll notice.
Okay, so this next one, I know everybody's going to react really strongly to, because I did when I thought of it. I was like, that's the truth.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I do it.
When we started, and I swear it was seriously episode 1, and the same thing happened with the ghouls one shot too. It was like magic. There's something, the chemistry we all have, the way we all just clicked. I don't know how it happened, but it's like a drug. Because we all talk about it after every session where we're like, I was tired, but then I took a good hit of some Newark by Night, and now I'm just woo.
Yeah.
Our chemistry is so amazing, and I think it's part of why we all are like, I'm sore from session last night from laughing so hard.
Yeah, my cheeks regularly end up getting a workout.
And it's like, even when we do have those darker moments and more serious sessions, like, we still are just buzzing afterwards. Like, can't believe that happened. Also, McCoy, we love you, but also screw you with whatever happened. Like,
if he threatens my cat one more time.
Oh no, he's not going to threaten it anymore. He's just going to murder it one day, and we're all going to be very sad.
I'd just like stop being like, you can't find your cat. Oh, again with the cat, with the missing cat. Why can we leave Willie alone?
The cat lasted a lot longer than I thought it would.
Right?
it lasted longer than I thought he would.
I bought a pet store. It fixed a lot of issues. Made friends with some people who have horses. Got beat up by a bear. Earned some respect. Things are easier these days.
Can literally get a herd.
A literal herd.
You really just need a cow. I mean, there's a couple cows, you'd be fine.
Hey, I've said it, like, push comes to shove, we'll negotiate feeding schedule with Ronaldo and his cow. What kind of cow is she? That was the important question we never got. And I was like, is she a fine breed?
Purebred. Oh my god.
Hey, Ronaldo, could you open up a portal to the nearest barn, please?
That's
Who wants to go to France?
Can we please turn off Japan before...
No Japan between the hours of 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. No Japan.
Yeah, you wouldn't
I'm
want
not
to go to
gonna lie
Japan
now.
while you're awake.
I need Ronaldo and Micah to meet.
I'm gonna
just
be right
to
back.
see how that would go.
Honestly, with him sending off all the Malkavians, it would be nice for him to like let at least Micah appear for a bit to be like, I was coming to check on my kid. You seen her?
Kind of did a walkabout thing. It's a whole thing.
Kind
No,
of
but-
abandoned me.
That
Would you
doesn't
like
get-
to go to Japan?
That doesn't get OC uncomfortable at all. Yeah.
She kind of just left on a boat, Micah.
She's on a boat.
Like,
Obviously.
what do you mean you don't know where she
Japan
is?
from
Didn't
Newark?
didn't all of you go and hug your grandpa Malky or whatever?
Yeah, she went to go find the tree.
Malky.
Malky's and Elky.
Wow,
Malkov.
Grandpa Malky. I love it, and I hate it at the same time.
So I guess I got
Grandpa
the second,
Malky almost murdered you.
I got the second part to the sage question. If you want to see what happens to her, what do you want to happen to her? Who do you want to embrace or become?
Oh, we all have different opinions on that.
Yeah. I like hearing people's ideas because sometimes I do put them in my chat and like, so and so had a good point. So you write this down, McCoy.
I would like the Tremere because I think that's just the natural progression of
Daddy, what?
You
Daddy?
just-
No, we're not letting Francis be my potential dad twice.
Oh my god.
Uh,
That whole Francis. Yeah, that was so good and so horrible at the same time. I was like, I felt bad for Sage, out of character.
since we all know mechanically, Prunella Cicative. I think on those grounds, I would love the flavor of Eileen successfully getting you and embracing you against your will, and then you diabolarize her, and are now Ventru, a real Ventru, and in the same bloodline as Prunella, but that whole dynamic shift, what that would mean, how it would be such a thing to explore.
Now you're
And-
Brunella's older sister somehow.
Yeah, you're her cousin. You are a real
Yeah.
Ventru, and you are clearly already capable of being a better Ventru than her. It would create in game such a dynamic shift, a whole new avenue of crap to explore, especially between their relationship. It would be probably my favorite option, just because it's the greatest unknown and comes with the biggest cost.
Yeah.
Free venture.
I mean, I'm already more of a Ventry than Prunella, but
Ollie at this point is
Accurate.
more of a venture.
I don't know. His painting salesmanship could use some work.
Yeah,
So
the
before-
trade with the Fae did not go how I was hoping.
Before we finish answering this one, it's 10:30, Tech, and I know you had a cutoff, so
Yeah,
That's
that's
all
it. I was trying to wait for a moment to pause so I could say goodbye and explain.
Did that.
we'll all say goodbye to Tech.
Uh,
We'll talk more about Hawk soon, I'm sure.
Well,
Mhm.
And there he goes. I will give a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. I did tell McCoy I don't want to play a clan I already have if she's gotten embraced. So that would eliminate Toreador, Ventru, Salubri, Zamitzi, Ministry.
okay.
And then I also kind of told him, whatever you feel, I will literally say, all right, I'm bored of her being a ghoul. Let's pull the trigger. And it's up in the air for me at this moment. I feel she fits Tremere and Kada best based on the way the story has gone. I think it would be very interesting if she got embraced Malkavian after being ghouled to 2 for how long?
You got a taste of normalcy for just normalcy for a little bit, and
For
then
just
all
a
of
little
sudden
bit.
You're just baptized in madness. You had a bit of the unholy mad water spritzed on you. Now you're gonna have a dunk.
Now I'm gonna go swimming in it.
Yep. You're not gonna get out of the pool because, like the Sims,
Have a
the
bad
ladder hits the
time.
roof.
just all of a sudden pulling like Holly's adopted child with Micah. You hear these voices all the time, every day, non-stop.
And it turns out she is actually just talking into a hand. There is no phone. And Micah's responding.
Everybody goes about the web in their own special
And
way.
she's just
Everybody else
sitting
is
there
like- Everybody's, do you hear anything? No. She's just going crazy.
Nope.
and they're like wide-eyed comatose. Everyone's like, Sage. Sage.
Right, the network, of course. Let's get you back to bedroom, sweetie.
Do you hear me now?
I think I need to go onto the roof. I don't have any signal in here.
I can't get high anymore unless I eat someone who's high.
Oh
It
my god, that
sucks.
would like dealing with things through smoking is like one of the like core aspects of that
Yeah.
character.
Like the amount that she smokes, like it would be a lot for her. Ooh, Jeremiah put Banu. That would be a fun choice. Oh, that would be dangerous.
We don't need Sage in the body. Also, I go back and forth like all over the place with what I would like to see Sage, but I think there's a part of me that doesn't want it to ever happen. I just there's a part of me that like really likes the Sage being a ghoul, but I also like I think this I think like I want something to happen, and I want to hopefully be a little bit surprised by it. But yeah, I don't know.
That's the goal. Is I'm gonna like if it ever comes to that point before this story ends, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to pull the trigger, Jeremiah. I'm gonna let him pick the day, or like the session. I'm gonna like be like, I'm just letting you know I'm ready. I want everything else to be a surprise for me and the players. I don't want to know anything else.
I think he just heard you're ready, and you know, you're gonna, at this point, figure it out.
But
And we're going in character now. Okay.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, we're live. All right.
He wasn't really sick. It was all a ruse.
but we've also been talking about the mage route because after Sage the Mage became like the trend, I was just like, that that would be fun. It would fit the gimmick of the game of like all these kind of like oddity like people, not even just kindred, just gathering in one place.
This like taboo second Carthage potentiality thing, and I'm just like, all right, if we go there, if you get to be a mage and you're part of our coterie, then that means that we can eventually try also adding a wayward werewolf.
I mean, Sage should also be the wayward werewolf. That's also an option, apparently.
Listen, if I'm still genuinely
I
relieved
changed
this
my
manual-
answer. I want her to be a werewolf.
Puppies! Wait, if she's a
least
purebred
there's a
werewolf, can Prunella feed off her? No, just kidding.
Listen, there's people out there that think I'm the descendant of hate, so it's not out of the possibility. So as soon as we all realized who that was, we were all like, God damn it. My dad's an ashtray.
Are there any Hakata characters in the story? Yeah.
What's her name?
Liz.
Liz.
Which I realized what McCoy did because I was building a Hakata, and I realized that the reason Sage got sick and I'm gonna aggressively hug you, McCoy, and then take you out at the knees.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still just like I'm thinking about like the contrast between ghouls, between Sage and Amelia, like especially whenever what's his face, homeless mage was just like, you don't have a destiny, and I'm like,
Morty.
what does that mean?
Morty. Mortimer, what are you doing? Amelia's already a loose cannon. You don't gotta make her looser.
Mhm. And it's
You telling me I could do anything?
My actions have no consequences? That's not what I said. I could take over the world. No.
Hang
she's
on,
gonna
no.
be in charge of your destiny, and I'm just sitting there like, McCoy, don't do this to me.
Give Andy all the power.
Oh, I'll be mature and responsible with it.
Yeah, as we've seen, you all do really well with that sort of thing. Like one line from my scene, just Micah looking and being like, "Just do what Sage tells you, and it'll be fine." And that's literally just him telling Feather to chill out. But literally, the whole party ran with it, like he'd made a prophecy. He's just like, "No, you have one of you that has some sense. Listen to them."
The Guillermo of the group.
Well, then-
Yeah, pretty much.
Then we did. We were letting Sage basically be our personal assistant who tells us what we are doing today and what things we need to address. And I guess McCoy was like, "Oh, that's too easy. I have to give their personal assistant a lot of trauma to deal with as well as her other jobs." And I'm just like, I feel like you shouldn't have been so good at your job or he wouldn't have done that. It's your fault.
It's
Sage
fine.
was the secretary who actually runs the business.
And she was running her shop, like she was taking care of Feather with the blood bags until it was revealed I accidentally killed my contact for that. That's a whole thing.
I'm not.
So I owe Francis a guy. Like, Mom now is in Jersey and not New York, and I'm just sitting here like, why? No, go away.
Problems.
I don't even know where my fourth, because I have 4 convictions because she developed one throughout the game. I don't even know where the other 2 touchstones are at the moment. And I'm just sitting here as Katie, like, they're gonna show up and McCoy's gonna torture me with all 3 of them in one place.
And
But,
look what happened.
But also just not even the contrast between the 2 main ghouls with when Tyler comes on and when like Lakar, I almost called him one of his other character names, like comes on, like just the dynamics between everyone and like the difference that each character is and how it works together in a really weird way. It's just like always so fun to watch, and it makes me look forward to the next time we do an Oops All Ghouls.
Mhm.
And
It's
how
not,
tired we're all gonna be walking in since we all just finished our night jobs.
It's one of my favorite things about Newark is that we do have, accidentally, it wasn't our intention, this ghoul-heavy through line that is involved in the Newark By Night universe. We have the makings of like an epic arc, even if we were to just let the ghouls take the front and follow that kind of rebellion they're kind of slowly heading towards. And I'm like, I'd watch that. I feel like everybody in World of Darkness would be like, I came for the show.
I came for the pre-ghouls.
Mhm.
we got one serious and one semi-serious ghoul, and then our vampires are just silly. We got a himbo, and we got an entrepreneur that doesn't know how to entrepreneur.
I
Big
think the
plans.
I don't know what it's going to involve, but I want the next one shot for Oops All Ghouls to be called Ghouls Gone Wild.
I've thrown the idea for if
Great.
we ever pursue the Statue of Liberty of being like, so McCoy, can the ghouls go during the day? Just for a fun little thing.
They eat hot dogs, they have popcorn, they take selfies.
It's
Totally not try to find the entrance.
Reconnaissance.
Jersey Shore ghouls.
For the record, I could totally hear Jeremiah just sighing in pain at
Yeah.
Ghouls Gone Wild.
If we don't, he's like, I need to stop watching this. They keep making me laugh. It hurts.
Aw.
I'm sorry, McCoy. That probably also just hurt.
I gotta be right back again.
Very Bruhasm. That was another idea that I had for a while with Sage, where I was like, if I had to like pick a clan, I could also see based on the direction she was going, Bruja, like very like protesty activist kind of route.
That tracks. Yeah.
And with her geology, with her major in geology, I'm like, eco-terrorist. Got it.
That was kind of the concept I had for a gangrel once, was an eco-terrorist. Made sense.
It's
What
kind of
gen? What gen is Micah?
now.
Yeah, that's the
Post
question.
Diablo?
I think he might be. I think he
Seventh
might
or
be
eighth?
8th gen now, 7th or 8th.
That's the thing. It's like, didn't he get the
Already Duck had been doing so,
after all the Diablo?
Yeah. So, which is a little bit of a curveball if he's who embraces Sage.
Oh dear.
Oh god. Yeah. That was one
That's a
thing.
sweet deal, Sage. That's a pretty sweet deal.
So,
He
You'll be
embraces
able to-
stage. She turns out a thin blood. It'd be perfect.
Gets to go to the beckoning
An
meeting.
8th gen thin blood.
That's what you
That
get.
was- that was one of the things when I was like, so potentially for Zamitzi, if the second eldest embraced her, I'm like, I think it would be hilarious, even though she, like, with the generation he was, or is, because he's still wandering up
Fourth?
there.
I think he'd be fourth, right?
He's like 4th or 5th, like, he's very low gen.
Yeah.
I would instantly be a fledgling that could not feed off of, like, humans. Like, I would only be,
Your
like-
potency would be out of
Yeah.
control. Yeah.
my potency would be through the roof, and it would literally be role reversed of, like, me babysitting, like, y'all. Now y'all babysitting me. And trying to figure out how to take care of Sage.
After
Sage,
eat 50
stop
people a
eating
day.
everyone.
It went through my head to
We're all making-
Diablerize him that first night we had him when we thought he was the Bruja, and I was like, no, I shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do
No,
that.
I wish. Okay, so that's a good question to bring up. Is like, what is a moment that after the fact you're like, I wish I'd done something like it's not just anything. You know specifically what you would have done instead.
In character or out of character? Because it's very
Either.
different answers.
No, any moment for either side, yourself or the character, is like, what is something that has stuck with you? You think about it all the time from the game where you're like, I really wish I'd done that instead of what I did.
I'd say,
Dan's like, I'm really happy I became a hot guy. I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
assume every decision I've made.
I know Dan has been waiting to make that contested role on a Diablerie for a while with Micah. Like, almost any time we would talk about Micah, he would just be like, you know, Micah would be really good in a contested role with Diablerie. Just casually. And he got that moment. And I was just like, in the back of my head, I'm like, good for you, Dan. But I'm also sitting there like, what if the dice just don't want to let him? Like, what's
if
gonna
they're just
happen
awful?
then? Like, that's the one time he rolls all, like, failures.
that's how it works sometimes. Like, I got a great pool for this, 2 successes. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I would have loved if Ollie had been just like, I'm just gonna go ahead and eat this guy, whatever. And
That
then
would have been
and then-
weird.
and then Jeremiah's just like,
Go ahead, reduce your generation to 6. It's fine.
okay, let's do some rolls. Just.
You have a humanity of 2. It cannot go higher.
I mean, I know, and it's been, like, said throughout the story. I know Sage wishes she opened the box instead of Cecil.
Yeah, but none of us wanted that to happen. But I
None
get
of
it.
you wanted that. Katie didn't want that after, like, the explosion happened. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't. But Sage is not, okay? Because that was also shortly after the Hunter basically blew up.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that we probably would have either had you'd have ended up a thin blood because one of us would have probably tried to save you by embrace, or Francis gets there fast enough, and
What do you mean, Finn? I'm 12th gen. I could have embraced. It's fine.
No,
I know what McCoy would do because at that time, with her being a Malkavian school and the whole situation, he'd have thin blooded her
Maybe.
so that she could still ghoul. She could still daywalk. That's what he'd do.
I mean, one of the, like, ideas that popped in my head for Kadif is I'm like, Because I know the whole table. I know everyone. They're all going to literally bite open their wrists and all at once drip in, like trying to fight over who's gonna save Sage, and that's how she becomes a Kata, and is just bloodbound to all of you.
That would
Welcome
make
to the family. Come here, Bubba.
Sage is just sitting here like, I hate it. I hate it. I have the web in my head somehow. I can't eat anything other than this because of Brunella, and I think everything is pretty because of Ollie.
You need Francis to be Maury. You'd be like, you are not the sire.
You are not the sire.
Not
That's
the
some
side.
Tremere shit right there.
See? A bouldery, yeah. There
I'm
we
the
go.
sage, you gotta love me.
Sage with her trauma right now is that's enough slices audio.
You know, Wolverine's the thought that maybe the next obvious chapter for these characters is you all become Sabat. Go undercover.
Jeremiah will never.
Look, I don't want to be Sabat, but I do want to go to the Statue of Liberty real bad.
Well, I want to do a big old break-in heist, save your sire, fuck shit up, maybe commit some crimes against the nation, whatever.
Yeah, you know, just undermine the governmental agency, blow up the whole statue. Oh, can we blow up the Statue of Liberty? That'd be okay.
That's the start of the Deus Ex video game.
It could be the start of chapter 3. Or season 3.
Could you do the Ghostbusters 2 thing and get it so you can actually drive the Statue of Liberty off the island?
Yeah.
Dear Diary, blew up the Statue of Liberty last night. It was great.
And then I went to coffee with the gang in the morning.
Saved my dad. Everything's swell.
Let's see if Ronaldo's down for it.
Ronaldo would be so down, I feel. Just to get out of the apartments, because we've just been keeping him cooped up there. That's probably why he went to Japan.
I'm telling you, that's the answer, is we let Ronaldo go to the potluck.
Mm-hmm.
And he can tell us how it went.
Ronaldo, his friend in the orange tracksuit, and Morty.
Morty would fit right in at a
Morty
church
would
potluck.
love it. Free food.
Free food. He'd be so appreciative and grateful. He's living in the dumpster behind your business. You've got a permanent guard on your back door. He can do magic. That's pretty nice.
I should ask McCoy, do I technically have a haven with that? And if so, can I make Morty my guard? Morty and his homeless buddies.
He's like, can he count as a half dot?
Yes. A mage is only a half god.
A homeless mage who isn't invested necessarily in the whether or not of any particular part of our current arc. So it's not like he's actively helping. He just might, tell you when he sees stuff.
Or when you don't have a destined fate.
Alright. You have a disinterested mage out there.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is it a disinterested mage or an interested mage worse for a kindred?
I guess it depends.
Depends, yeah.
Well, it's a good thing Sage is not kindred, isn't she?
No, but they keep commenting on her damaged avatar, and I'm just sitting here like, McCoy, you make it more and more tempting each time we play.
I have a theory that I think I should keep to myself about how, if Sage becomes a mage, that'll happen, but I don't think I should talk about that. I don't want to give McCoy his ideas if he doesn't already have them.
Because she'll age quite a bit, too, when she stops drinking blood. So she'll go from
Sage,
looking...
you've not been taking care of yourself.
Well, that was my assumption, that the progression of successful endeavors, projects, and magical apparatus that Ronaldo has been achieving, more and more unbelievable levels of things that he has done, I figured
Casually done.
that's supposed to be the Deus Ex, if the mage route is what you want, is that Ronaldo will be able to defy your aging shortcome. Everything else you'll have to go through. But I would assume that McCoy has back pocket Deus Ex of Ronaldo clearly could achieve that if that's what the story called for. And he has done a good job of laying that groundwork and stashing that smoking gun to where it's not, oh, I just say so. No, he's got plenty of precedents to make this happen.
He's been able to freeze people in time, so.
Time freezing and Japan, I think we're past. He let it. Ghost seeing and eating food, like we've done it.
So based off of what I know, he's definitely got spheres of correspondence and time, or at least has access to them.
Yeah, but even if he didn't do that, I think it would be very interesting how the world would react to Sage looking like she's in her 40s and 50s, because that would be around how old she is.
We start actually treating you like our mom.
Just. You all start doing that. She just starts using her mage bullshit.
If it ever stops for Amelia and she advances to the age that she is currently, she would be grandma.
Oh. We'll put her in a good nursing home.
We'll call her Mimi.
Mima.
You got another question. Is the apartment layer what each of you want? Or is it representing early stage of vampire life? Like, would you guys like to live in a bigger haven, or?
I mean, it's kind of gotten bigger, but it's without getting.
That is a current topic in character.
Yeah,
actually, whether or not the current living arrangement is going to shift in certain ways is an in character current plot line. So stay tuned.
Katie knew what Prunella was going at, but
the players know what we're driving at.
And McCoy was like, I am worried that this is are you guys good out of character? We're like, we're fine.
No, it's just it's like I was saying with Wex, is like that excursion with the gangrel really helped us do the final click in of what Prunella and Ollie are to each other and how they work. And I think the way Sage and Prunella, since Feather's leaving, have butt heads on the domestic stuff, concerning the household and the living situation. It's like I feel like I'm fighting with my actual sister. So it works.
It works, and they're gonna. I already can see it. They're gonna have either a implosion or explosion,
which is totally like a sister. Anyways,
yeah,
it's like it has to happen.
That's when they're finally going to realize, oh,
but I love you. But I love you.
Yeah, exactly. And then everyone else except for Ollie is just gonna be Ollie and Amelia are just gonna be this is fine. They needed this, and all the SPCs in the room are gonna be
Ollie's also crying. He's
Ollie's gonna go up and be bear hug them both. I love you.
I'm so proud of you guys.
All the SPCs are just gonna be y'all need a moment.
Amelia's I need a drink. I'm gonna be right back.
And then say something completely ridiculous because it's Ollie. I've been shipping you since forever. And
Amelia is just gonna be very heartwarming moments and all, but we currently have a couple of enemies, waiting to kill us. So can we get a move on that?
There's a bomb right there. Just take it away.
Well, she doesn't import and export, but she has a pet business.
You gotta tie the bomb to a puppy? Don't do that.
Couture pet accessories. Fat willies.
She also specializes in cuisine.
Yeah, Wagyu beef rescue.
Wagyu beef rescue.
This is just to clarify the character who earlier this very episode was wait, I can leave animals alive?
It wasn't the character, it was the player. The player was not informed that there were choices.
That was one of my questions I thought of. Was there something really early on, like you being a farmer, that you picked that you has informed so much of your gameplay that you didn't think it might?
5 minutes into episode 1, less than 5 minutes into episode 1, we started episode 1 with me going, "Oh, I regret this. I regret this completely. Why did I choose this?" We started with eating poor Scruffy. Like, why?
That's Scruffy.
Because you like the
But it was,
yourself.
and see, that was like we steered so hard into the humor in those moments because we didn't know where our level was. I mean, it was episode 1, so that's like when the very next time we had her feed on session, we were all just like, "Oh, this is not like how Scruffy was. This was awful to experience. I don't want to ever do this again." Scruffy was funny in the moment, but this poor Doberman in the park, this is all sad, and I wish I hadn't done that. It made sense that it would be hilarious all the time, where everybody else is like, so I go and I hit up the drug dealer down the street and I intimidate him.
Charm him, obviously.
Charm. I'm over here going, I gotta see if anybody's got Siamese. I'm really craving Siamese right now.
Maybe some ferret, or like a hamster, like just as like a side dish.
It's like Prunella's not allowed to go to SeaWorld anymore.
An aperitif, if you will.
I don't know. Would eating a hamster even slake any hunger?
No.
Probably not.
Several hamsters,
Like
maybe.
a dozen of them, maybe.
That's like trying to survive on a French fry a day. Are you kidding?
Hamsters are essentially like chicken nuggets for Prunella.
I was about to say, like, in at least the video games, like you can slate like a hunger off of rats in the Swan
Yeah, like
Song game.
one. Yeah.
But they also don't use the tabletop rules exactly.
That's very fair. That is very true. Because I was like, I thought people could eat off of rats in this game, but I could have been.
Yeah, it's the
been wrong.
tiniest bit, and I imagine you'd have to eat a lot.
Oh, my poor
And it's not very tasty either.
My poor gangrel.
I get a 6-piece hamsters.
6-piece with hamster with fry? Yeah, absolutely.
with a gecko side.
No, it would be with the side of fry.
Would you like to supersize that to a blood bag on the side as well? Extra long.
Those 6 hamsters are too small. You supersize the hedgehogs, so then you go up to.
Oh, there you go. Eventually, the chinchillas. That's a very expensive meal, though.
I
Well,
like Coffee Man's idea.
Well, like, let's talk about this. We know this has to exist because veterinary medicine is widespread and goes all the way up to like exotic levels. So I'm just going, they have to have blood supplies of animal bloods of lots of varieties. And I bet there would be a very easy way to locate it. It'd be near a zoo.
Well, I've seen
Do you
like
think
in
they have
the
blood
memes.
for animals?
Yes, I've actually seen like articles. There was one of a golden retriever, and it was like this is their like amount of times that they've donated blood to help out other dogs. And they're like, he's such a good boy, and I'm just sitting there like ugly sobbing, like
Dogs can donate.
other pets, but they're like they need blood donors. Like blood donation. And I'm just like, that's so wholesome. Why do humans suck? We don't deserve dogs.
Honey, why are
guess
you
that's
crying?
like
I just
all
remembered
the
swans can be gay.
I did not know that. I
Yeah,
did not know horses have that many types.
I know vampires got you Googling weird stuff like local blood transfusion for horses.
Like some of
That
the
would be
things.
one of the safer things that I
Yeah,
I
how
mean,
many of us are on watch lists because of Vampire the Masquerade?
I mean,
Animal
if you
Blood
look-
Resources International.
I mean, if you look at my search history for my my Austin LARP character, it comes up with such results as what natural plants have the same effects as hard drugs, and how do you start a cult?
Like for my Ventru, she's a mafia kid. And like the amount of things I look up about the mob, like where recent mafia families are, who's still alive in them, I'm like, I promise I'm not a hitman. I am just playing a really young vampire. I promise I am not a hitman. I am just a really young vampire.
I found a price list. I just posted it in the Discord.
For a hitman?
No, for animal blood.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a nice little chart. There's puppies on it.
Good to know. Good to reference to later.
Canine plasma. Bovine.
Wow, that is expensive. I need to go into the pet blood donation business.
I think that's what Coffee Man was getting at, is like Trunella can be as Ventru as possible. She could be the kingpin of the animal blood scene.
She
I love
could.
the way your whole aspect changed.
That happened so much with Prue. When you pulled out I use the voice of Hardisat, I as a player was just like, yeah, go Prue. But like also in the back of my head, I'm like, oh no, we're gonna actually expect her to be a Ventru now.
Well, I mean, that is her current shift, is that I was just like, you know what, season 2, I'm not gonna actively try and fight Ventru responses. I'm gonna go with whatever, and she's just gonna be obnoxious and bossy, whatever.
So she's mechanically cative, but she gets the voice of Hardestadt.
Well, I mean, she's only mechanically cative because of the
farming.
the farmer thing.
The farmer.
Yeah, that is the only bent rule involved in her, and that bent rule makes her like, the reality is like, we can say Ventru, but the truth is that you would be considered cative. Like that's the truth of the mechanics. But in our dark comedy, where we bent one little rule and followed it with Ventru details, where she's like, I can't just go pick up any stray dog. There's no easy to this. It's just as hard and annoying to deal with in game.
No, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Because so many missing pet posters.
So many. I would love
Less
to
with Feather gone. Less missing pet posters.
we still keep them up though, Sage.
I mean, there's not more than there were. They're aged now.
Like Sage,
Some
like
go away.
as they fall down, Sage just like puts them in a scrapbook as they like wither away.
They all went to a farm up north in upstate New York.
Some of those animals lived, damn it.
No, all the posters, they're most certainly dead. You murdered all of them.
Put them out in the garbage bag. It was just like, don't worry, I'll take out the trash, Prue.
Here you go, Bryce.
I did not expect him to become so prominent either in Sage's story. Like, I didn't expect her to have a romance. She was the last person I expected to have a romance out of the cast. And then he just kept like kind of like hinting that he liked Sage, and I'm like, you know what?
Fine.
Well, he kissed her after the explosion, and that was like the moment for her. Like, no, like he wants to stick around with my crazy. You want to stick around with my crazy?
There's so many ghouls in the Newark story. Like, it's so ghoul heavy that Ollie and I are now like the token vampires.
What would you like
Keep
to
a
see?
couple around. Yeah.
There's just, I gotta have 2 kindred just to keep everything legitimate. And the ghouls are just like, nah, this is our show. And we're just like, that's fine.
Yeah.
So instead of oops all ghouls, there'll be oops some vampires.
Who let the vampires into this thing? What is going
Who
on?
let the vamps out? Ooh.
No, I'm waiting for
Question.
the one shot that is oops all kindred.
when the whole
Don't you mean regular
ghouls
vampire? Listen.
So, what would you like to see happen to Bryce, if anything?
Ooh.
I'd like to see him get fridged for character development.
Oh!
Build characters, fine.
No, just as soon as you posed this question, I was like, oh yeah, what would she do if she was embraced? What would she do with Bryce? And then I was like, oh, shoes on the other foot now, bitch! What would you do? What would you do when your fucking person you love's a ghoul? What would you do, bitch? What would you do?
As Katie, I have thought about it. I know Sage would literally have, like, she most likely would have a mental breakdown. Like, without a doubt. Like, it also depends on the nature of her embrace. Hi, Panchi. Oh yeah, it's late for you over there. But hello and good night. But she would have a long conversation with Gold. She would have a very long conversation with Gold and would be like, because she knows why Gold ghouls people, and is why Gold treats her the way he does. And there was a lot of insight I got when I was like, we're gonna settle and pick Gold as my new Dominator. So I got a lot of tea on him that I'm just waiting to sprinkle out at you guys. And it's just like, Anthony showed up and I'm sitting there like, I don't think I'm supposed to tell them who he is. Oh yeah, hi Uncle Billy. And he's just looking at us like, what are you on about? That's not my name. But I think she would have a very long conversation with Gold and would be like, are you cool with me ghouling Bryce? Because McCoy and I've kind of discussed like where their relationship is at this point. Or like something along those lines. Either are you cool with me ghouling your grandson? Or
Is
down the line, can I embrace him?
grandson cool with you? Yeah, look where you went first too.
Are you cool with me, forcing an affection on your descendant, towards me, and having him be addicted to me? Like, is that cool? Are you cool with that?
I'm loving everything about this conversation.
Like, that's where like my first thoughts with her would be. But again, it would all vary. Like, it would all be very dependent. Like, if she did get embraced and like something happened to Bryce, she probably would embrace him to save his life too, because that's kind of how she is. She always puts others before herself, hence why she ended up in the hospital. Because she's just like, nah, I got this, let me take care of you all. Oh, my arms and my legs are broken and I can't move, and I'm just sitting here against a wall now as you all go fight this hunter.
Good times.
I'm not just gonna sit here and cry.
Explosions, diablerie, ducks, good times.
Diablerie duck.
The Diablerie duck.
That would be a great t-shirt design. A
I would
vampire
love
duck.
to design like
The
a bunch of
Diablerie
t-shirts. Like all the missing posters, just like a duck with like fangs that says Diablerie duck.
You make it look like the wooden duck from Nightmare Before Christmas. That has, it's like it's got like a couple of gunshots, or just like two bite marks with a little bit of blood dripping off of them.
Yep.
It's Diablerie duck. People would be like, "What the hell is that?" And be like, "You need to watch
Quackula.
Newark by Night."
Count Quackula.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. We had this duck toy for my dog that he ripped the head off of, so I duct taped it back on, and then he destroyed it again. So I Frankensteined it one last time. So we called it. Oh my god! It was he was originally
Quackenstein.
He was Quackenstein the third time, and it was it was Duckerton. And then he was murdered, and I was like, "It's Duckerton 2, Return of the Quack." And oh no, and then the third time it was Frankenquack.
I love everything about that.
Okay. Do you guys have a character that you've taken inspiration from for your character?
Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher right up here.
I think I know the answer for one of you. But...
And every like Jersey girl who has ever been illustrated in a 90s movie, you know, what is it? My Cousin Vinny. It's like, yes.
Marissa Tomei.
I sometimes watch that just before we start to help me slip into Prunella's accent, because that spiel at the end about the claw, it hits all the vowel notes I need to remember to use.
Are you sure?
I mean, I just slip into my natural New Yorker when I'm angry at everyone sending me utensils for my pizza.
Reminds me, I need your address.
For reasons unrelated.
I mean, I'm gonna send you chopsticks.
There's actually a video out there of them handing McCoy a fork and knife on TikTok. Not this previous Gen Con, but the Gen Con before, as we're eating pizza. And I got so upset that I literally just got up and left the room.
How dare you force this upon me? My eyes.
And they're all laughing hysterical, and I'm like, no, no, it's a hand food. You pick it up, you fold it, and you eat it.
Tell that to the Italians. Source me, because I was there for a month.
But I mean, the original inspiration was from Crafty, because I was originally going to make another character, and then Crafty was like, do you want to play Sage? Because we thought that would be funny, of like this Malkavian walking around and being like, oh, I can't leave the house without my Sage. And then it's like everyone thinks she has like a smudge stick or like a bottle of Sage, and then it's like, hi,
a person.
And then when we did our first vignettes, which I would love to do those again just to see like what each character is up to. That was when I kind of came up with the idea of her having like a double life. Of like, she only puts on this act for Feather because she's like, I don't know how Feather is going to react to change, to her having colored hair and like doing some really sketchy stuff.
You just gave me such a great idea.
Ooh, this is a question for Ollie.
Ollie's art so far has been small and personal, but hasn't gathered the attention of his clan. Do you have anything bigger in mind?
Well, I mean, I did get some attention, and then I got invited to, help with the rebellion, and then I said no, and then that Toreador got murdered. And the attention of my clan now is, my co-parenting of Miranda. That's
well, actually, it's two things. You've had a big art debut in real world scope, and you've gotten the attention of the Fae.
Yeah,
which is more fun.
And I'm sure with their love of art and the way Toreadors are, that you're not the only Toreador to deal with Fae. So that news through the grapevine is gonna come back at us some point. Someone's gonna be like, I hear you know Phil, and we'll be like, Phil who?
I don't know.
Well, didn't you also donate like a 9-success critical art piece to the...
And that was not nearly as important as the several masterpieces that I had diluted from my sire's storage. Like actual masterpieces as opposed to just a Ollie masterpiece. Lots of,
oh my god,
glamour involved in that.
The picture.
The picture? What picture?
Oh my god.
What, the duck I made?
Yes. Oh, it's a Diablerie duck. Oh my god, it's so Disney. Duck. It's a Disney-esque Diablerie duck.
It looks like
an evil Donald Duck.
No, the cape reminds me of Darkwing.
Oh, it's like Dracula McQuack.
Rude, Dan. Rude.
McDuck.
He's DMing me things of pasta that's called pot-sized spaghetti. Because that's another thing. You don't break the pasta.
Well, now you don't have to break the pasta. It just comes that size.
Oh, I don't ever break my pasta.
They like to torture me and my Long Island Italian heritage. I'm gonna bring a wooden spoon next Gen Con and just smack you all with them. Same one my grandmother used with the hole drilled out in the middle for less air resistant. Or more air less air resistance. More aerodynamic. Wex over there like, what?
It's not how aerodynamics works. It's
It's
fine.
less air resistant because the hole.
I forgot I was muted for a moment.
Isn't that like a Homer Simpson thing? He like hit the car with like a pickaxe. It was like speed holes for aerodynamics.
Yeah, speed holes.
Speed holes.
Someone was trying to assassinate him.
But anytime pasta is brought up, I just keep remembering the meme: wet the dries, dry the wets, wet the dries, dry the wets, wet the dries, dry the wets, wet dust and then dust the wets. That's it. That's how you get spaghetti.
Yeah. I was about to say, I feel it's the same thing with like when you're like breading like a meat or something. It's like you put the wets and the dries, and the amount of like times you're like going and like you're dipping it in like whatever you're using as the binder to like the flour, then back in the binder, then into like whatever the breading is, and it's just back and forth. And I'm
could
just
really
like,
go for a chicken fried steak right now, but it has to be
Right?
gluten free because my stomach hates it now.
oh no.
Yeah, I've got to go with cauliflower crust everywhere I go for pizza.
Oh no.
Thankfully, cauliflower crust is pretty tasty, so
Yeah.
playing it.
I was about to say, I haven't had a good cauliflower crust yet.
Dang it! Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too.
Here, you can have some of my
Sorry.
pizza. Here. I mean, granted, it's Pizza Hut today because that was the only thing open, but. And then, of course, they're like, it should be getting here around 9:30 as the stream starts. We're outside.
Here it is.
But you're not bitter at all.
Oh, I'm not bitter at all. I totally don't hold grudges.
I have to be careful teasing you now because I know I'm playing one of your games.
You are.
Aww.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. The players at that table were like, all right, we're either gonna be more chaotic than Katie is or more traumatic, and no in between.
Which is perfect for a Disney game.
And I'm just sitting here like, great. I'm gonna channel my inner Jeremiah and just be sitting there sighing at some of the shenanigans. I can already see some of you pulling.
Shenanigans? Me?
Are the nanigans shenanigans?
You rescued a princess and she thinks she's betrothed to you. Let's.
Was it a Malkavian princess?
No! Okay, her line of logic is that, well, all of our parents, one of them rescued the other, and then shortly after that, they got married, right? So that's how weddings and love and like that stuff works, right? He saved the princess, and now she thinks they're betrothed, and no one has corrected her yet. She's just walking around like, I am engaged to the prince.
Yeah. That's how consent works.
I think my next one of my next LARP goals is to try and become Prince.
That's fun.
Yeah.
The musical artist?
Yes, and then I will be formally known as whatever I did before that. Did you know that there's a track in this game called Risk of Rain that is called the Rain, formerly known as Purple?
No.
And it feels very much like a Prince vibe. Like it's good. It's a good song. There's no lyrics or anything. It's just it's just a game for a soundtrack, or a soundtrack for a game. But yeah, anytime I hear a Prince, I'm just like, oh yeah, the rain formerly known as purple.
Here's a good question for everyone. What clan or type of character would you like to play next? Not necessarily for Newark, but just in general.
I think I'd like to try and play a proper venture this time. Because, let's see, I have played, in recent memory, I have played a Malkavian. I have played a Ministry member. I even was Bruja for a while. But I haven't done venture. And outside of one-shots, and even then, those were like Sabat one-shots, so it wasn't authentic venture to begin with.
I want to be a ghoul.
Also that or Tremere.
I will say I am completely like in love with my Ravnos in the Austin game, and I'm so good. It's so good. I enjoy it.
I really like my Ministry too.
I like your Ministry too. It's so good.
Favorite clan.
Like you, I think you, Katie, would really enjoy what I did with my particular vampire. Like, I do not run a nightclub. I do not traffic drugs. I have an addiction rehab center, and I have some more or less permanent residents that get over their addictions through more holistic treatments.
Dorothy would be so proud of her little black heart, and would just be like, "We need to go into business."
Because like we got what was basically like an OnlyFans model. We got a nightclub owner. We got a DJ. I think there's like a scholarly type, but he runs sort of like one of those rich people cults. Mine is all just about like, oh yes, while she does, dabble with the rich people, mostly to bilk them for as much money as possible. She does, go for those that are lost and downtrodden, and there are other ways that you can pay aside from money.
Yeah,
and you'll thank me for it.
I love those type of ministry that don't fit the stereotype necessarily like that, and it's like, no, I manipulate people through this. One of the examples on the official World of Darkness YouTube was someone played a little old granny that would make people cookies as a ministry, and I was like,
the whole idea is it's like I'm giving them a greater purpose, and so what? That purpose is me.
Sounds like a cult. Sounds like a cult.
No. It is. Like amongst kindred, she'd be like, "Oh, it definitely is." Like she's not gonna bullshit on that front. She's like, "Yeah," but also I give them purpose. And where would you rather have them? Would you rather have be drug addled and on the streets, or would you rather have them be safe?
I want to play a Malkavian, like I was saying earlier. The new idea I have is, somebody that just sneaks around and stays in your house. So Malkavian divorce lawyer or couples counseling.
Oh my God.
I just hide in your closet and make problems that I know how to solve later.
Just like pop in, command somebody to do something fucked up real quick, go back to hiding.
Eat that sandwich she told you not to eat, and then you disappear.
Submerged directive.
Just little submerged directives that just cause a relationship to crumble. That way you get the fucking dyscrasias.
Rationalize not doing the laundry.
No, that's just men. Sorry.
Like, well, that was easy to rationalize.
What about you, Dan?
Probably next vamp I make, there's a decent chance it's going to go Toreador.
Okay.
I play a lot of Ventru, obviously, and I play a lot of Malkavian. But I've had a few Toreador concepts that occasionally tease up in the head, and so might go that way, or try to go for a true philosopher Bruja.
How young is this Toreador
if
you had in mind?
If you think about it, Malkavians are just the sneaky Ventru.
I mean, literally. So in Chronicles, Malkavian became Molkovan, and they were a bloodline of the Ventru.
Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot.
You aren't the
It's
first
been
to
so
mention
long.
it. But I mean,
Hi,
I'm the guy
Rocket.
who
I see you
forever
petting
thought of
Rocket over
myself-
there.
I forever thought of myself as a Malkavian main, and then I created one particular Ventru, and I'm like, oh wait, is this now my entire personality? So
Yeah, I was
Well, you
trying to
made a
be,
Victoria lore too, so I can see that.
I
was trying
considered
to be-
myself a Malkavian main. I was wrong.
I considered myself a Nosferatu main until I really enjoyed just being super pretty, and now Ministry is really up there with favorites.
Ministry will. Well, I'm the white girl that falls asleep to true crime and murder podcasts. So, like, as soon as I found out about Ministry and what they're about, I'm like, ooh, Ministry and Zemitzi are up there for me. I'm like, give me the creepy ones, so I don't go and pet the creepy thing out in the woods.
So
So-
to just give you an idea of how niche this character is, I spent 7 dots on just a Haven alone. Like it is a size 3 sizable Haven with 4 dots in like luxury, security, library.
nice.
And I forget what the other one was like because that was a recent XP purchase, but yeah, like this is a secure little compound, and well, she just shows up occasionally, just be like, "Hi, everybody, how's it going?" She's trying to create her own, like, sort of like farmers market version of the circulatory system.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can get you some bespoke food. And one that's, ethically harvested.
It's
I
all
don't do-
organic.
Yes, it is all organic.
Free range.
Yeah. Yeah.
Free range vessels for you.
Sort of
did you
interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you continue your thought. I thought we were moving
Oh,
on.
I was I forgot what my thought was. You go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody go.
Oh god, what's happening? No, it was sort of like I used to think I was a Malk main because of Bloodlines, playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and then I played Coteries of New York, and I was like, oh, I'm a Ventru, so who knows? Maybe Bloodlines 2 will come out, and all of a sudden I'll decide a Tremere would be a good idea. So
I'm not holding my breath, unfortunately, for that game, just because of development hell tends to lead to. Not
Look.
It wouldn't be the first WAD game that got canceled.
For the last 12 years, this is the 4th company to attempt, and the last guys got closer than anyone has ever.
actual gameplay footage.
I have not given up hope, but it is just part of this. It's part of it. Every time somebody's like, well, they probably won't finish, and I'd be like, that's fine. It's happened before. Someone else will try. Someday someone's going to actually get it in the hole.
Yeah.
Why won't you go? Okay. Anyway.
Before I pull up the next
Did you wanna go to your
question,
home?
I've had the idea of playing a Nosferatu or a Ravnos kicking around in my head for a while. Like a VTuber Nosferatu. Just for some reason tickles me in a really weird way. Because it's like, I can just see like her having like the whole internet fame and getting like the social media lore sheet, but all with the VTuber thing. Or I've been
So that is a character that's showing up at the Austin Vampire LARP.
yes. Hold on.
Like, wears a mask, has a voice modulator, but then, like, actually doesn't have a voice modulator. Everybody just assumes the voice is modulated after the embrace.
I think they did have this idea in Shadows of New York, but is it the Ventru, like the one guy who just has the ghoul talking for him at all the time, so you have to give respect
That would
to the
not
ghouls, 'cause the
surprise me
ghouls
for
basically
Ventru.
him.
I haven't played Shadows yet, and I need to because I really love the coteries.
You could do Nosferatu, just a ghoul holding like an iPad.
Yeah, I would definitely do something like that. Like, you never see her in person, and no one knows like what she looks like or what like the Bane has done to her, and it's just like her ghoul like walking around with like the tablet and like the
You just see like
anonymous
the
mask.
not even the anonymous mask, just like the line that just
Yeah.
like, the sound waves. Whenever,
Exactly,
whenever
like
they
something
speak.
like that. And then my other character idea, which I know Wex is gonna make a face as soon as I say this, is a yeehaw Ravnos. 'Cause for some reason, just a cowboy Ravnos just gives me so many giggles. I'm like,
I mean,
funny
I told you about my Ravnos, right?
no. You like told me you were playing Ravnos, but you haven't told me a lot about them.
Yeah, he kind of is a cowboy slash rancher Ravnos. His thing is he's quite old. He was a rancher in Independence, Missouri, about 1830s, and then got embraced, and then the Oregon Trail was happening, so he sold off all his ranching business and traveled the Oregon Trail as a Ravnos, feeding on people and learning to hunt and all the good stuff. It was fantastic. But yeah, kind of a rancher cowboy Ravnos, absolutely.
Like
He was the one spreading the dysentery.
Like
They didn't
like
all
just
die of dysentery.
a rodeo clown or like a rodeo rider, like Ravnos, for some reason in the back of my head has just been like a thing. Partially because I want the tassel jacket. That's the tassel jacket and an excuse to wear my cowboy hat.
I'm gonna send you a jacket that I would have bought if it would have fit me, but it did not fit me.
That actually reminds me, and on my back burner of characters, I do have like a cowboy Toreador that's loosely based off of Doc Holliday.
Yes.
So the answer for this question for me is that the fact that I didn't put any dots in Drive, despite it's a modern game, I was just like, nah, somebody else drives Prunella. But I figured at some point McCoy's going to force a situation, not maybe intentionally targeting Prunella, but there's going to be a moment where she has to drive, and it's going to just be awful.
Let me pull up my character sheet.
I had to look at my dots. I was like, let me see what I don't have, and I'm like, oh shit, it would be so easy for Brunella to be put into a situation where she has to drive, and I'd be like, she rolls nothing.
This is similar to one of the questions I thought of. Is there something that he calls like, I need you somebody to roll at this that nobody can fulfill? Like, is there a skill that you feel you're all missing?
There was a while when none of us had intelligence. Yeah, there was a while absolutely none of us had an int except for Sage. But but I think we've all spent a little bit of XP on. No, you're still at 1. I'm at 2.
All of my mentals are above average. They're 3s.
I do remember there was a time you guys were struggling to just use your iPhones because you had 1 in technology and 1 in intelligence or something like that.
I have 2 in tech. I have 2 in tech, actually.
1 in tech's all you need is to use a smartphone, I think.
That was early on.
I think I kept arguing and he was just like, give me an intelligence and tech. And I was like, can I argue for wits, please? Please.
Well,
figure this out to fly.
I have to go ahead and get going. My friend,
pulling up her sheet now.
My friend just got home. It is her birthday, and I am going to celebrate a little bit with her.
Well, happy birthday to her.
And happy birthday. We can end
I'm going to go
here.
as well because I've got to... Yeah, I was headed here.
I have to get up at 6 a.m. Well, actually, 5.
Yeah. We all got adults.
Be somewhere at 6, but I got to get up at 5, yeah.
Well, it was lovely being here with y'all.
Thanks for the invite, everyone.
This is so nice to just
Good night,
calm Bab.
Yeah.
Feel better,
Yeah, come
McCoy.
hang out.
Good night.
Feel better. Bye.
Bye.